There's definitely a trend of busy bragging,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
frankly
man.
gets on my nerves.
Oh, isn't that true?
It's also boring as hell. Like nobody wants
Well,
to hear
yeah.
how busy you are. Like seriously, people.
Exactly. That's an excuse we use all the time, right?
It's clear we're experiencing a busyness epidemic. And being so busy gives us serious validation. It makes us feel like we're worth something, and therefore we do more. And with technology, we do way more. And with huge focuses on productivity and efficiency and output, we're doing so much, but is it at the cost of being? And by being, we mean an intimate experience of our present moments. To break it down with me today, we have Dr. Greg Nelson. What's wrong with that? Right? We're moving forward, we're building things, we're science is progressing, technology is taking us further. What's wrong with being busy AF?
What I'm seeing is that there's an imbalance. So the human person is a combination of being and doing, although we are called human beings.
We're not human doings.
Exactly.
That's true.
So the human system is not designed to go 60 miles an hour on a train through all the
24/7.
stops of life. Yeah, exactly.
So how did we get here? Because it wasn't always like this. What happened to the brakes?
People end up equating worth and value and identity with productivity and busyness. The busier I am,
Absolutely.
the more important I am.
Absolutely. There's definitely a trend of busy bragging,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
frankly
man.
gets on my nerves.
Oh, isn't that true?
It's also boring as hell. Like nobody wants
Well,
to hear
yeah.
how busy you are. Like seriously, people.
Exactly. That's an excuse we use all the time, right?
On the flip side of busy bragging, there's almost sort of like leisure shaming.
You're making a great point. The very fact that we have leisure shaming says a lot about the value we place on productivity and busyness. The brain does not distinguish between a real and perceived threat. So now, unlike the cavemen, we walk out the front door, we're not expecting to meet a bear, a lion, but we walk out the front door now and we have these perceived threats. Sometimes there are limiting beliefs or the questions we ask when we walk into the office in the morning. Will I do a good job today? Will I get kudos from my boss? Will I get scolded today? Or have I prepared enough for my presentation in the boardroom? What that is doing is it's creating this hyper level of stress and adrenaline production so that we are living in an unsustainable way. Our systems are not designed to be hyper level all the time. When we are under adrenaline production and living at the hyper stress level, the reasoning parts of our brain shut down so
Because
that
you're
we
fight
can
or flight.
act, exactly, we can act instinctively, right?
Yeah.
The very part of our brain we need to make good decisions and good choices through the course of the day is being shut down, and we are trying to live in this state, and that's why people are getting diseases.
Yeah.
Their hearts are failing. I was talking with a group in a company yesterday, and they mentioned, oh man, yeah, the disengagement level is high here, and the dropout level, the
I was gonna say
depression
burnout.
level,
There's
the
gotta be a lot of
burnout. They
burnout,
used all those words.
Yeah.
That's why, because we cannot live at this level. It's not sustainable.
I want to read this quote that I read as I was researching this, and it was a New York Times article, and I think it sums up why we try and keep ourselves so busy. Tell me what you think of it. Busyness serves as a kind of existential reassurance, a hedge against emptiness. Obviously, your life cannot possibly be silly or trivial or meaningless if you are so busy, completely booked, in demand every hour of the day. I thought it was very telling.
We don't want to stop the doing side because we are also designed to have meaningful production.
Right.
That means a lot to us. It's a part of our purpose.
Yeah.
But we've overemphasized that to the point now we're losing this grounded, centered side of ourselves. We're losing the soul of ourselves, which is that deepest part where our identity is, because now we're replacing this sense of identity with how well we do in the external world.
Yeah.
So we've got to reclaim this. That's my appeal. There's several things I think we need to do. Rest is one. I mean, that's big. We live in a culture here where U.S. ranks somewhere down in the top 10 of countries that are the worst in using up all vacation.
That's right.
I mean, it's crazy. We have tended to view rest and work as adversaries, but they're not adversaries. They're actually partners. You cannot have one without the other.
Yeah.
And the part that often gets lost is the resting part.
Yeah.
The work part we got down.
Absolutely.
The resting part we need.
And there's a big difference between just, keeping your body afloat by stopping, and like you're talking about, like a more strategic, which is I need rest for the sake of rest, not just because my eyes close for 6 hours at some point in the day.
And now research is showing that when we are in a place of silence, our brains are creating new brain cells.
That's fascinating.
What a concept.
Let's just be quiet for a minute.
They even say that some of the most comfortable relationships are the ones that you can say nothing to each other to. And I don't
Great
mean
point.
in terms of telepathy.
No,
or
no,
being
no,
able to find each
sure.
other, but you
Yeah,
can
sit in silence.
and be comfortable in silence. And we don't have to be filling that void with
Great point.
conversation and stimulation. And I'm the least silent person perhaps on the planet, but even I'm learning to appreciate that a little bit.
That's awesome.
As we go along.
So meditation has been proven scientifically to aid in all these good recovering of the human parts of ourselves. That's a great practice we need to have. The other piece beyond rest and meditation could be a part of that is reflection. This is a dying art, Kaamna.
Self-reflection, I think part of the reason people shy away from it is it's scary.
It's very scary.
Like I remember reading, I think it was the Lean Startup back in the day. And I think one of the things he said, which is great, and he talked about solving a particular problem, but I think the same thing can be applied here.
Okay.
Is you go 5 levels down in your whys. Okay, so why did this happen? And then why did that happen? And at 5 levels deep,
Beautiful.
you're close to getting to the core of whatever it is you're seeking.
Yeah. It's for the purpose of bringing more clarity about who I am and what my identity is, what my purpose is, what are my core values, what are the attributes that I want more of in my life, what level of emotional intelligence do I have?
Yeah.
I mean, that takes reflection. You can't get there without that reflection.
I'll give you an example. I'm in a band.
Right.
And I'm
Oh,
a
yeah.
vocalist.
Good.
And I'm very happy to
Okay.
go in there and sing songs that other people have written. But the minute they're like, hey, I need some lyrics to this, my literal response was, I don't have time. I actually said, I don't have the
Interesting,
headspace to write lyrics.
Interesting.
I can listen to a song and I can regurgitate it for you, but I don't have the headspace to come up with something original. And as I'm telling you this, I'm now understanding what I did.
Yeah.
And I need to go back and write those lyrics.
Great. That's the point.
yeah.
Right there, you solved it.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
where we all have to come to.
Yeah.
Our system is designed with a process called homeostasis. Homeostasis is the body's ability to bring back into equilibrium something that has been. For example, my oldest son is a Ironman. So he's done multiple Ironmans, and finally the pinnacle for him was going to Kona. He said, if I were training 24/7, I would not reap the benefits. The only way I reap the physiological, psychological benefits is when I have recovery time.
And, yeah.
That's the game changer.
And that's the metaphor for
That's the metaphor.
life. Yeah.
So what he's talking about is homeostasis. If we are going nonstop, we are fighting the body's natural tendency to come back to this place of balance.
Home base.
The home base. So it's built in. We just need to
Listen to it.
listen to it and leverage it.